We're opportunity to be joined by a chieftain of the People's Democratic Party, an erudite, articulate public affairs analyst, and of course, the immediate past commissioner for local government and chieftaincy affairs in Edo State. Talking about Monday Okpebholo. Thanks for coming, Comrade Monday. Now, let's look at your perspective of what will be around or what will be seen as hope and bright perspective for Edo State as we look at the incoming government under Senator Monday Okpebholo.
Well, first, let me greet everybody. Maybe an opportunity for me to thank the people of Edo State for standing by us for the past 8 years. Government is a continuous process. Yeah. That is as far as I'm concerned. And that I do not also believe that somebody cannot perform. I also believe that anybody can perform. It depends on what you have in mind with your people. But my advice, first of all, is for him to study the handing over note very well, because the man that is handing over to him, I can describe him as all. The man knows everything. Let me just use like that. Nobody knows everything, but let me use that language.
An all-round administrator.
Yes. A banker, a farmer, a commerce man. So you should study the handing over note and then move around the projects that the man has done. Also move around to know the one that is remaining. He knows the one he can continue with. He knows the one he cannot continue with. Okay. That is his responsibility, not mine. But all the projects are in Edo.
Okay. But can you pinpoint any of the takeouts that the incoming government will be benefiting from as he hits the ground running?
The incoming government is going to benefit from saving of funds. First, you do no longer carry files. Everything finance, everything document is centralized. In view of the e-government, he knows if a kobo is leaving the accounts of Edo State government. 2, I'm sure as of today, there is no government ministry, department, or agency that is on rent. Every government agency, department are on government property. You go to AgriHub, the Ministry of Agric, AGP, all World Bank projects related to agriculture, they are out there. If you go to Education Hub, you have Ministry of Education, you have the all the ministries or department agency relating to education, they are out there. In short, in that word, there was no primary school. There's a primary school there now. There was no health center in that ward. There is a health center there. And then, if you go to Saple Road, where you have the Ministry of Infrastructure, every other agency, other infrastructures, they're also there. So it makes it simple for anybody to do anything and transact any business with government. For example, if you go to Ministry of Education and it is not the ministry, it is Subeb, they are there in the same compound. If you go to Subeb, no, it's not Subeb, it is Technical Board, they are there in the same compound. So cost had been reduced.
Okay. Okay, let me quickly ask you this before I pedal the next question to the next analyst here. Let's look at what you see as the possible benefits of the Obaseki's government, most especially as the incoming governor is saying that he's going to focus on the red roof intervention as started by the former governor Adams Aliyu. Was there any red roof intervention by the outgoing governor of Obaseki?
It is not the roof of the house that determines how beautiful the house is. It is whether the house is leaking or not. And as far as I'm concerned, the primary schools are okay, not all. But what is the quality of the people coming out from the red roof? We saw where a primary school cannot read and write. But with the intervention of Obaseki administration using tabs, I bet you, this is Oluku Primary School. When you finish, you can go there now. Call a PP of Primary 2 or Primary 3, and then you will go to redirect. So a lot was also done by the commissioner and the government as far as the education system is concerned. Everybody is aware of that. And I also wanted to key to it. Move out. Let those who were international sponsors and join to continue to do, because today we said children are the leaders, the youth are the leaders of tomorrow. You cannot be a leader of tomorrow if you don't differentiate between your right and your left.
Okay.
It's like we are here now. I will just smoke and throw it, and I said my child should not do the same. He will do the same.
Okay. Thank you. Let's get your perspective on that, St. Moses, because there's been this much talk about the Red Roof intervention. What do you see as what the incoming government under the leadership of Monday Okpebholo as the governor, should do or prioritize as regards education?
Yeah, first of all, I want to thank you for this opportunity once again. Monday Okpebholo has an opportunity to write his name in gold. And if I were to advise him, I would advise him to, first of all, understand that government is a continuum, meaning that whatever the previous administration has done, his own is not to undo it, unless it is absolutely necessary. His own is to improve upon it. No matter the political divide anybody want to belong to, you would admit that Edo State achieved a lot in education. And there are 4 areas I would like the incoming government to focus on.
Okay.
1, education. The education reforms by Obaseki should be sustained by all means and improved upon. 2, the security architecture by the outgoing administration. This vigilante that we have issues with, but the people on the street know that they have been impactful. Work on it, improve it. Don't need to dismantle it, it's not necessary. They are not politics. Security is not politics. Another thing he must consider is the civil service, the e-governance structures that the past administration has installed in the civil service structure where you can just rise to become anything by merit, not by who you know. Should sustain that. And finally, he must ensure that the the civil service, like I said,
okay,
the security, the way the finance is got in this state, he must not return Edo State to a place where individuals will collect revenue from government. The e-collection is the best. In fact, he should celebrate Obaseki for that and improve upon it. For education, he must focus on this physical infrastructure that Shomole did and the software, the quality teaching by way of this modern approach that Obaseki did, and he must take it further. And if he did all this, I think he would write his name in gold.
Thank you. Well, let's get to you, Sonny Daudo. Do you see the challenges that he may be faced with as regards trying to reward those who, have been around him to make sure that he's able to get this victory as party leaders, chieftains? What do you see if there could be these challenges? What do you see as what he should do to prioritize for the betterment of Edo people?
Well, let me look at it from this perspective. It's not an issue really of rewarding persons. But again, the government is a government that needs people to governize its policies and programs. The governor alone cannot shoulder the responsibilities of the state. So he will need to bring men and women on board to man some agencies, parastatals, ministries, to work in concert with the policy direction of the government.
Are you talking about outside rewarding those who were with him?
It's not necessarily rewarding. What it means that whether you are a party man or you are not a party man, you have the capacity to contribute to the development of the state.
Even if it means getting a consultant from outside the state?
Not necessarily consultant. If we have Edo persons who can be consultant, there is no space of human endeavor that Edo person does not pride. Even in abroad, Edo persons are there. You can get them out wherever they are. That's why I'm saying it's not necessarily people who, of course, maybe by way of elections and all of that, were on ground. But persons who have the technical know-how, the ability to drive development will be incorporated to the government. If you look at my opening remark, I say it's an exclusive government. It's not a government of a political party. Yeah, it's not a governor. It's a governor of Edo. It's not a governor of one political party. It's not a governor of a section. It's not a governor of a tribe. It's a governor of Edo. He has all of this in mind while coming on board. So all part of the state will be engaged, whether Edo North, Edo Central, and Edo South. All members, all citizens from these areas will be engaged to drive development. Because as I said, ministry will be handled by persons. We have commissioners, we have special advisors, we have boards, we have think tank, we have economic team. This will be made up of Edo persons who will look at rethinking governance. How do you rethink and rejig governance for the betterment of the state? All of these are what the governor-elect will ensure it does. The persons, maybe political parties or party members who supported him, will also be carried along in the governance of the state. There will be no situations where you divorced the governor from the people who supported him. No, the governor is not going to chart that part. It will be a governor who will listen to people and look at direction, rethink, and cross-fertilize ideas given to him. He will call people for ideas, development, ideas mooting. When all of these have been done, he will cross-fertilize them, subject them to interrogation to know the path. But this path must be people-driven.
Okay. It's also believed that the master plan as bequeathed by the outgoing government of Nogagase Obaseki, will be an easy way through for Monday Okpebholo to navigate, being that a lot was done in order to make it easy for him to improve upon what has been achieved by the Nogagase Obaseki's administration. Do you concur?
Well, let me tell you, the master plan of Edo was not developed by Obaseki, with due respect. It was not developed by him. He only built on it in respect to his capacity.
That's why I said what he will be bequeathing. Well, even if he built on it, there are achievements that he will be bequeathing. So do you concur to that? That is what will help him or aid him in governance.
Let me narrow it. Let me narrow so that will not be omnibus. For instance, as I can concede that the civil service reforms that the governor have done, the outgoing governor has done, will not be obviated, will not be neglected. The incoming governor will build on it.
Yes, again.
Yeah, will build on it. Now, the fear persons have about issues of revenue collections and all of that. Revenue collections are not the business of any political party member. The governor there's already a template that cannot be also be dispensed with. It's not something to be given to party patronage for collection, no. So these are issues that they will not raise their ugly head because they're already there. There's a template. Generation of government revenues will be done by government and not by individuals. So there will be no fear as to whether or not the resources of the state will be misdirected. No. The state, there is already a template for revenue, internally generated revenue collections and all of that. That will be sustained. Now, the issue of whether or not party patronage will be there, yes, of course, I said that people, of course, have built the party, have struggled for the party. Those kind of persons will be brought on board to chart the way of developing the state for the betterment of the citizens. So there will be both inclusive human management, resources management, and also ensuring that the institutions, both traditional institutions, educational institutions, the healthcare, and infrastructure are carried out, are ensured that they are involved in the development of the state. We are in for a very good and robust administration shortly from tomorrow.
Back to you, Monday. Let's look at this challenge where some have said that the inability of the outgoing governor, to carry people along as in party members, most especially, the leaders, that brought about woes towards the end of his administration and even affected the election, where the candidate lost out. What is your urge? Do you concur with that argument? And what is your urge for the incoming government, not to make a mistake in terms of managing people and resources at the same time in governments?
Well, I believe that a governor of a state is to manage the state and not to manage the party. There is a party structure. Yes, it might be the leader of the party based on PDP constitution, but there is a party chairman. At the state level. There's a party chairman at the local government level. There's a party chairman at the ward level. There are even party coordinator at the unit level. So the responsibility of a governor is not to manage the party. But however,
But you can carry them along.
You know, I was one of the founders of PDP. So, and I'm still a member of PDP. How did you carry people along? Is it by sharing the resources of the state or by doing the projects that the community wants you to do? So when people said, oh, maybe there was no, governor did not carry some people along, or he carried some people along, did not carry party along, I don't see anything, I don't see any truth in that. And two, it did not affect the election. I don't want to talk about the election because the election is in the tribunal. It did not affect the election. Everybody, all of us who are here, a
lot of leaders left the party.
Those are listening.
And they had their arguments as a result of not being able to bond with the outgoing government.
If you want to drive your wife, you will have a reason. And if your wife wants to leave you, she also has a reason to go. And some of them we claim has left the party, have not been able, they are not bold enough to say, I am now in this party. Which means they are being used or something is wrong with them, which you and I cannot, we don't know.
But the outcome, you believe, also affected the party?
It did not affect the party in any way. It did not affect the party in the sense that the party were winning all its elections. And remember, party members are not up to 1/3 of the voters. It is the voters that determine what happens in the party, not party members. Yes, party members are there to guide the party because you cannot contest election on the zero-party system as far as Nigeria is concerned today. But the voters are those who anybody in government should listen to. I'm not saying you should not listen to your political parties. Were the governor responsible in doing all the contracts? Were the governor responsible for commissioners? Was he the commissioners? Was he the special advisors? Were the governor the SSs? Were the governor members of chairman of board and parastatals and members? It wasn't. Like he said, maybe governor one or two persons who were not initially a member of the party said, this person can help me, come. This person can help me, come. I don't believe it's even more than one or two. I was a member of the cabinet by the special grace of God and the grace of all of you from the beginning to the end. And I tell you, I can say who Obaseki is. Obaseki is the most simple person you can talk about. And Obaseki is the most hardest person you can also talk about. If Obaseki knows that you are on the right track, he will support you to do the right thing. If you are on the wrong track and he said, Saibovo, that is not how it should be done. Look at it. If you do it like this, it's your benefit. If you do it like this, the benefit of the people.
But some believe again that the high-handedness of the governor, also impacted negatively the party's performance.
Yeah.
And again, that's exactly what I also want you to give a notch to for the incoming government, how it can prioritize this for the betterment of the people of Edo State.
Like I told you, I can remember the day of our swearing. I'm sure he did not know many of us, even including me. I don't think he knows me very well. Maybe during the campaign, somebody have told him Osabovo is very influential and powerful, can campaign, he can talk to people in Ovia. He said openly, I know some of you here are rich, but you'll be poorer than what you wear before you go. And when we were in the ESCO, he repeated it when somebody raised and said, our salary is 470,000. In other states, it's more than that. He said, my brother, I have fixed salary that I know I can pay. That is why I said so and so the other day. And the commissioner replied, oh, guys, that is why we didn't say amen. And he laughed and said, well, I'm not a sadist. Let us work for the people. They will remember you and they will pray for you. And at the end of the day, the prayer and the way they will remember you, you will see what you will gain. But as the time as allocation improves, the salary was improved based on the revenue and fiscal mobilization's fixing of salary. So anybody who is criticizing, let me not say Obaseki alone, any governor, is that why must I dash you money in the first instance if there is no reason for it? I will just call party leaders and said, take. Where will I tie it to? Is there any budget you can tie to and say party leaders, monthly payment? There is no. And the best you can do, like I said, appointments, contracts. Obaseki did not do one contract. People did the contract.
Party members?
Yes. You are the one according this program now. Is that not? But as at 45 minutes ago, you were not the one to anchor this program. But the program has to go on. That is what he was saying just now. That commissioners, special advisors have their role. But it is the governor that everybody either praise or criticize. That is why the governor tailors and said, this is my agenda, this is the party agenda. Like what is just said, can you now go to the field and start collecting revenue with hands? It would go to government treasury. And government will not see the money to work with. But if you use the system that is already on ground, you have your percentage.
So in that light, what do you advise the incoming government?
It should follow up what he meant, if you like. You know, you don't advise people when there are a lot of people who will say, this is how we are going to do it. We will discard all these things. We will throw off those ones. Let me give you an example like what you just said. When we were just 3 weeks old, His Excellency came in and said, gentlemen, you've resumed 3 weeks now. What did you observe with your civil servants? I bet you nearly all of us. So, God, they don't come to work in time. They close very early. We need to sack some of them. We need to do this. We need to retire those who are. The man just laughed and said, well, I did the campaign. I visited most of them in their houses when I was doing campaign. I'm happy all of you speak the same way, but that is not the way. Don't you see the offices? The roof are leaking. The floors are smelling because of the carpet. Nobody will want to work in such an environment. So when we finish republishing the offices, we'll set up a training ground to train them.
That will boost their morale.
You will see that these people will change. Some will even like to be sleeping in office.
Okay.
What is happening today?
Okay. I'll come back to you to take your final comments on this segment. But let's get your thoughts, St. Moses. Let's look at the need for the incoming government, how it can prioritize in terms of managing human and material resources alongside the party members.
Yeah, I think the incoming government should behave like a government. A government is for the people. It's by the people and should work with its people, with the other people, should work with the template on ground that's good, should not discard policies, structures, merely because they were put in place by the previous government. Should look for the best people to work for him, whether they be in his party, they be outside his party, or they be even outside the state. Yes, for that, you may need to correct the criticisms against the outgoing administration where he was accused of bringing people from outside. Personally, I have a problem with that.
Okay, you have a problem with that?
Absolutely. I have a problem with prioritizing outsiders. I stayed long enough in Germany to understand even in Germany, there's a law for you to employ anybody. You must first be a German.
Okay, what about if he considered competence?
I'm coming. If there's no German, you look for a foreigner who will train a German. So the objective is to improve the German. So it's a law even in Germany. So also we must put a policy in place where if there is a job, it must be for Edo people. If there is no Edo person competent for that job, you will qualify one. You will elevate one, you train one. You cannot bring a consultant with a condition, a proviso. Train these our people, not a consultant that is working in isolation of the people. The past administration did excellently well in governance. But that's one point I really disagree with. This government must prioritize the Edo people, empower the Edo people, qualify them, and then make history. Unfortunately, I didn't vote for him. I didn't support him. If there is another election, I probably will not still vote for him. But the point is that it's not by tomorrow, once he becomes our governor, we will recognize him as a governor and we will give him all the support as a governor. We will even advise him as a governor because I'm a taxpayer here. I'm a taxpayer. I pay more than 40 workers in this state, pay my taxes to government, so I have a stake in the state. So I want the state to function, to work. I don't want it to be an APC state. I don't want it to be a PDP state. I want it to be an Edo state that my children and me will be safe and happy with.
Well, I must commend you for your honesty, you know, in making such remarks that you didn't even vote for him.
Of course I
But let's look at this aspect where godfatherism has been said to be a clog in the wheel of progress. You know, but some believe that godfatherism have some positive advantages,
There's
opportunities.
absolutely nothing wrong with godfatherism.
With godfatherism.
There's
Okay, so how do you advise him to tackle headlong should any situation arise that will make him to feed the appetite of godfathers at the expense of the people?
It should not bother to feed the appetite of godfathers. It should recognize people who have supported him. Whether you call them godfathers or godmothers or godsisters or godbrothers or whatever you call them, is immaterial to me. It should it should patronize those who supported him. But it should not dash them money of the state. They must work, give them a job. If you are a godfather, you can do this road. I give you the contract if you fail, I send you to prison. Because I've given you the job and it is on record that I have patronized you and you failed, and it's also be on record that you're going to prison if I was the governor.
So you advise he can step on toes to make the job done?
You must step on toes. If you don't allow it to step on toes, you should not be in governance. You must step on toes. Bait. Don't victimize people. Don't be vindictive. Step on toes justly. Even the man you step on his toes will recognize that, I fuck up.
Oh, no. So you are not allowed to use that word, please. You must retract that.
Retract it. I'm sorry. You recognize that he misbehaved.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Let's take your final remarks on this, Sonny, most especially as regards what the people expect of his incoming, of his government. What do you see as what he should do to make the promises that he made possible? You know, because some have said the aspect where he made mention of the 5,000 employment of teachers for public schools, you know, within the first 100 days in office, could be a very bogus one for him to carry on. And again, he also made mention of providing interest-free loans for traders. Some would have said, well, maybe it's because during the campaigns, politicians can say anything, but when it comes to governance, they may make a shift on the promises. So what do you advise and what's your urge?
Well, because before the governor started the campaign, he has done an assessment of the state and the areas where the states were lacking, especially in education. I can tell you for free that we don't have teachers in our schools.
You mean we don't have enough teachers?
We don't even have. Let me tell you.
What do you mean you don't?
I'm going to
see there's no
number. No, let me just tell you what I mean by that. For instance, I have 3 schools in my village. The secondary school junior has just 1 principal employed by government. The secondary school also have 1 principal employed by government. So the other staff are paid by the citizens of the community. We have what they call a Kubwe Club, where we donate money monthly to pay them. So if I say, for instance...
Do you know such schools?
My school, I said my school where I attended. My school, I'm not saying another secondary school. I'm one of the contributors there.
What's the name of the school?
Ika Secondary School. Ika Secondary School, Ika.
So
we have one principal junior, one principal senior. It's my school I'm saying. The principals now can hear me. I can mention their name here.
Okay, so what's wrong with that?
So what I'm saying in essence is that the governor-elect did an assessment of schools across the state while he was campaigning. And he discovered that most schools have no teachers. And where you have is one. For instance, in Inauguration Secondary School, you have one principal there. Different from my village. So he did the assessment and discovered that a school where you are supposed to have maybe minimum of 5 or 6 teachers is one. For instance, you have about 9 subjects taught in school. And it's one principal. The junior principal in my school teach 5 subjects. I can mention his name here. So this has shortfall that the governor, of course, assessed before elections and discovered that in the educational sector was actually neglected in terms of human capacity. So that is why he made that promise. That the 5,000 may not even be enough, considering the number of primary schools, secondary schools. I said my village alone, we have 3 schools, or 4 now, junior secondary school. We have 2 primary schools, Inuma Primary School and Okpebholo Primary School. So when you have looked at that, my village alone may take, the schools in my village alone may take more than 20 teachers. Not considering the number of villages in Edo.
Okay, are you also considering
I don't want to interrupt. First of all, I'm happy the teachers are not enough, because you said there was none before. If government pays 1 and 1, which means there are teachers. But however, how many pupils are in that secondary school? Are your children in that school or they are in Benin?
Okay.
That is 1.
Okay.
2, if you transfer your wife now to that school as a teacher, she will not go because she believes that he has to be with you.
Okay, thank you. So
let me quickly respond to that.
I'm coming.
Okay.
I'm coming. I just want to, you know, when you are recruiting,
yeah,
you can recruit and post, the recruitment will not be seen. If you recruit and post everybody to a local primary school, where a local primary school is already having 10 teachers and they need 1, for example, you now send 5 to a local primary school and not to Obioge Primary School or Obioge Secondary School. As far as the people are concerned, or the records is concerned, you have enough teachers, but they are not in the appropriate school or place.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. We are pressed for time.
Yeah, but let me quickly respond. In the junior secondary school, because I'm part of it, it's 156 students. I can put the principal online now, if I'm allowed. We have 156 students in the junior secondary school. In the senior secondary school, we have about 132 or so.
Okay.
In the senior secondary school. So the one principal is not enough for 156 students, as the case may be. Now, these are some of the areas the governor will address.
Okay, so you should improve on that.
Yes, we will improve on that.
Okay, thank you.
And again,
your final words.
Well, my final words is that the governor-elect has the people at heart. He came on board to ensure that a new Edo is bettered and that the citizens of the state will witness development within the space of good time.
All right, thank you. Your final words, Monday Okpebholo.
Well, first, my final words is that to thank the people of Edo State and to thank Obaseki for laying a good foundation for Edo.
Okay. Over to you, St. Moses, in 15 seconds.
Yeah, we appreciate Obaseki for a successful tenure that ended today, and we pray that Okpebholo in his tenure will succeed.
Thank you very much, St. Moses, and big thanks to you, Sonny Daudu, and of course, Monday Okpebholo, the immediate past commissioner of Edo State in charge of local government and chief testing affairs.